bliss. Well, let's go ahead and lay down, and we'll start in supine Savasana. Good. Gently laying ourselves down, shoulders and head. Taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Filling the lungs and abdomen with air. Removing any stale air that we have in our lungs. And then allowing the breath to assume its natural rhythm. As we slowly settle into this space around us, noticing the sounds, the temperature, and the smells. And then bringing our awareness to the breath, the steady inhalation and exhalation. Noticing where and how it enters the body. And the expansion of the rib cage and the abdomen. Feeling the contact of our bodies on the mat beneath us. Back of the head, the shoulder blades, the elbows, the hips, back of the legs, calf muscles and heels. Getting a sense of the mood of the body. Any areas of lightness or tension, comfort or discomfort as we run through a body scan from head to toe. Not assuming how the body might feel, but scanning with a fresh sense of curiosity. Back to the breath. And taking a moment to set an intention for today's practice. Exhaling any sense of judgment, competition, or expectation for our practice, for ourselves, for others, and the tasks that we engage in each day. Coming back to the sounds of the space around us, we reach our arms over our heads as far as we can, arching our lower backs, extending the heels long and the hands long, interlacing the hands. The fingers are curled and wrapped around each other as we draw our air into the chest, through to the abdomen and lower back, and exhale forcefully. Noticing the end of the exhalation, following the exhale through to the end. Releasing any stagnant air and energy with the exhalations. And drawing in new air and energy with each inhalation. Allowing the chin to slowly lower to the chest as the neck starts to relax. Continuing to reach long with the legs and the hands. Allowing the lower back to just assume its natural shape. Walk the left foot over to the side of the mat and then follow it with the right side. And then our arms are also going to reach over towards the left, so we're opening up the right side body, taking our breath into the right, breathing in between the ribs. An expansion of the rib cage laterally as we create space all the way from ankle of the right foot through to the right hand. Noticing the sensations along the way. Intentional breaths as we create space. Keeping our shoulder blades on the mat, maybe reaching a little bit farther. Two more breaths. Good. On the next inhale, we'll come back to center with the arms, bringing the feet all the way over to the right side of the mat. Deep breaths in, and then we'll exhale, bringing the right arms over to the right side, keeping the shoulder blades on the mat, maybe allowing the head to follow the right arm. Now drawing our attention to the left side of our body as we breathe deeply. Expanding the rib cage, noticing what's happening from the ankle through the left side of the legs, the hips, the lower back, into the chest and the arms and neck. More breaths. Reaching a little bit farther with the hands as possible. Maintaining space in both sides of the body while opening up the left. Inhale, we'll bring ourselves back to center. And on the exhale, let's draw our arms around our knees, giving ourselves a big hug, curling into a little ball like a cocoon or a caterpillar. Letting the feet float back to the mat about hip width apart. Walking the feet out to the edges of the mat. Bringing our arms wide, extending them like a T. And then go ahead and just allow the legs to float left to right, like windshield wipers. Noticing what's happening in the lower back. Adding additional intensity to the legs in order to open up the lower back, the muscles that run along the spine into the QL. Taking the time you need, Breathing the spine, the muscles long through the hip and into the knee. One more on each side. And then bringing the knees back to center. Drawing the left knee into our chests and wrapping our hands around the back of the thigh, flexing the foot, and on the exhale we're going to drive the heel up towards the sky. On the inhale we'll lower again, hinging at the knee. Repeating this motion with the breath, slowly working into the hamstring and the calf muscle. Keeping our shoulder blades on the mat, feeling dynamic tension in our upper back and our arms. Working to straighten the back of the leg a little bit more each time, but again, releasing any sense of judgment or expectation. We fit the poses to our bodies. We do not force ourselves into any specific pose. And we honor the state of our body in this moment. We'll do one more. And this time we lower, reaching for our straps, wrapping it around the bottom of the foot. And on our exhalation, we're going to extend the foot back up, bringing our hands down towards our heart center, keeping the foot flexed, pressing the lower back into the mat. And we hold this pose, breathing the back of the left leg long, while noticing the sensations in the back of the leg, possibly even from the lower back through to the ankle. Being gentle so as not to create stress in the body. Noticing where we may be holding tension in our jaw or our neck or shoulders, just being aware, releasing that tension, using our breath not only to guide the depth of the pose, but the breath and our ability to breathe the muscles long. Go ahead and elongate the right leg on the mat if you wish. Noticing any change in the body or the posture. And we'll slowly, with each exhalation, start to move the left foot over the body, keeping the hips grounded. Noticing what's happening in the IT band, all of the ligaments and tendons that run along the back of our legs, from our tight glutes. And keeping the shoulder blades and the hips grounded into the mat beneath us. Being sure not to push too far, too fast, as this too could create stress in our minds and bodies. I want to create a sense of safety in the body for it to release blocked energy. Maybe letting go of the left hand and just using the right hand to guide. Two more breaths. Taking a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, we'll bring the leg back over top of our bodies and slowly start to lower over to the left side. This time noticing the inner thigh muscles, holding onto the strap close to the body. Keeping the hips grounded, exploring the sensations in our bodies. Maintaining a sense of gentle curiosity. Two more breaths. And this time taking a deep breath in, and on the exhale, bending the knee, bringing the foot across the body. Drawing the right knee in, making a double four, releasing the strap. Go ahead and hug the right knee in. Pulsing or rocking side to side. Flexing the feet, fanning the toes. Just bringing a little bit more awareness to the physical sensations. Releasing the hands, bring the left knee over the right, eagling the legs as best as possible, and then slowly rotating the lower half of the body over to the right side. Once you find a comfortable position for the lower back and the knees, go ahead and extend the left arm away from the shoulder, maybe keeping the right hand on top of the knee for additional tension. And then gazing over the left shoulder. Finding some sort of spinal twist that works for your body today. And then breathing into the spine. Two more breaths. On the next inhale, we come back to center. Releasing the left foot back down to the mat. And then on the next inhale, we bring the right knee closer to our chest, wrapping the hands around the back of the thigh. Taking deep breaths in, and on the exhale, with a flexed foot, we drive the right heel up towards the sky. Inhaling, we lower. And exhaling, we press it back up. Noticing any different sensations on this side. Perhaps you feel tighter or looser. Using the breath to breathe the leg long. Again, we notice if we might be holding tension in the jaw or the neck. Letting it go. Let's do one more. And the next time you lower the foot down, go ahead and wrap the strap around the bottom. And then with your breath again, exhale, extending the leg long. Grabbing onto the strap, lower to the body. And again, just taking a few moments to assure the body that it's safe and it can release any blocked energy we may be holding. Option to float the left leg long on the mat. Maybe noticing some tension that released in the abdomen when we did that. With each exhale, go ahead and start moving the right foot across the body. Noticing the sensations that run down the back of the leg or along the side of the right foot, knee, or even thigh, into the glute, maybe into the lower back. Conscious to not create stress in the body. More breaths. Inhaling back to center. And on the exhale, go ahead and lower the leg to the opposite side. Slowly again exploring the sensations in the body. Keeping our hips square to the mat. comfort as we breathe through the tension, spending the time needed to let it go. Two more breaths. And on the next exhale, we'll bend the knee, bringing the foot across our bodies, lifting the left leg off the ground, making a double four. Threading the needle and hugging the left knee into the chest, pulsing or rocking. Wiggling the feet around. And then go ahead and cross the knees over, coming into a spinal twist. Lowering the legs towards the left side of the body, extending the arms wide like a T. And gazing over the right shoulder and arm. Option to keep the left hand on top of the leg for additional tension. Doing so gently. Noticing any tension there may be in the right hip flexor or even the lower back. Even the left side compensating. One more breath. And then on our next inhale, we bring the legs back to center. Hug both knees in, bringing the head and the shoulders off the mat. Noticing any different sensations this time to the first time we hugged our knees in. Go ahead and roll ourselves over to the side, pressing ourselves up and into all fours. Gently transitioning, bringing our hands under our shoulders and knees under our hips. Good. Taking a sip of water if you like in between. Hey, right on. Go ahead. Shift left to right. Shifting the hips and our weight. Allowing the head to follow as it hangs heavy. center. Curling our toes into the shins. We'll take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, press up into down dog, lifting the hips. You're welcome to pedal the feet, bending the knees, or shift the hips left to right, swaying. Whatever you feel is more comfortable. It may even feel nice to rinse out some of the more intense poses we were holding for the back body. Two more breaths here. And then back to center, lifting the left leg up, gazing forward, coming up on the toes, and stepping through into a lunge. Walking the foot as needed, lowering the right knee. Good. Flattening the right hand, foot, and then bringing our hands up on top of our knee, spreading and walking the left foot out for stability as needed. Good. Forward facing. We're just going to slowly lower into our lunge. And then inhale, come back. Torso is nice and tall. Exhale, pressing forward, slowly exploring the hip flexor. Checking out what's happening in the shoulders and the jaw. And when you're ready, go ahead and hold the lunge. Still using our breath to sink a little deeper on each exhalation, walking the foot out in order to keep the knee in alignment with the ankle as needed. And drawing our awareness back to what's happening in the right hip flexor. And the sensations running from the abdomen through to the knee, right along the psoas line where we hold a lot of emotions. We don't push hard into this pose. We want to be gentle. Bringing the right hand down to the mat. We'll lift the left arm up and over, gentle rotation. Bringing the left foot towards the outside of the mat. We're going to reach back and grab onto our right foot. So lifting the right foot off the mat, reaching back for it. If that's not accessible today, then come back into a lizard lunge. Wiggling side to side, continuing to work through the hip flexor. But if this is accessible, go ahead. You have two choices here, either holding the upper body tall, reaching back, looking over the shoulder and opening the chest, or a closed pose, sinking into the quadricep, bringing the left shoulder towards the left knee. Option to float between opening and closing. listening to our bodies. One more breath here. And then go ahead and bring both hands into the center and step back into our down dog with the left foot, passing through all fours as needed. Reaching the right hand towards the left leg, gentle spinal rotation as we look over to the left underneath the armpit, reaching for the knee, the shin, or the ankle, creating a diagonal pattern, feeling the energy running from the left hand all the way through to the left foot. Releasing the right hand back down. Bringing the right leg all the way off the mat. Gazing forward, coming up on the left toes. Stepping through into our lunge. Yay. Go ahead and find stability here, bringing our hands to our knee and lowering the left knee down. Good. And once again, inhaling, come tall. Exhale. We lower down into our lunge gently and slowly, starting to explore the left hip flexor. One more breath. And then feel free to hold the pose. Again, walking the right foot out so that the knee is tracking over the ankle. Being gentle, not sinking too far too fast. Bringing the left hand down to the mat underneath the shoulder, floating the right arm up. And drawing our awareness to the hip flexor. Maybe the right hip even starts to release a little tension to allow us to sink a little deeper into the pose. But of course, there's no expectation. We fit the pose to our body. Walking the right foot all the way up to the side, lifting our left foot off the mat, reaching towards it as possible. Of course, alternatively, we can stay in a lizard. And once again, we have options here to stay high or rotate forwards. Working into the quadriceps slowly. Using our strap is also an option, as a matter of fact. You can wrap the strap around your foot If you're interested in a little additional tension release, go ahead and wrap it around. One more big breath here. And we'll lower the back leg, bringing both hands inside, curling the toes under the left shin, stepping back into all fours. Go ahead and walk the hands out to the end of the mat, coming into puppy pose. Shifting the hips left and right, maybe bringing the chin or the forehead to the mat. Opening up the chest a little bit more. Option to find stillness here if that's what you prefer. Adding an inversion to the spine to create a little bit of traction and space between the vertebrae. Breathing deeply, elongating the spine from tailbone through to crown of the head. Option to thread the needle, bringing the left hand under the right arm, gazing over to the right. You may feel the right arm light up a little bit. Be gentle. Bringing the left hand back, reaching it long. Deep breath in between, and then go ahead and reach the right arm under the left, looking over towards the left side. And noticing the sensations in the top of the arm, the shoulder, and the chest. One more breath. And then on the next inhale, we'll draw the right arm back, walking it long. Exhale, we roll ourselves up. And coming into a kneeling camel, making fists with our hands, bringing them to the sides of the sacrum. Pressing the pelvis forward, rolling the shoulders back, opening up the chest, drawing the elbows in towards one another. Option to interlace the hands, driving The knuckles towards the earth, opening up the bicep. Again, rolling, lifting as possible. Keeping the hips pressing forwards, the glutes are engaged. Breathing deeply, expanding the lungs and the chest. Deep breaths in, and then we release. On the exhale, lowering ourselves all the way back down, coming into a child's pose, but a slight variation. We'll do an embryo with our arms along the sides. Our head is going to be on the mat, and we'll reach back towards the heels, so keeping our knees nice and tight. The goal here will be to lift the hips off the ground, rounding out the lower back and the upper back, driving the crown of the head into the mat. Breathing deeply to expand the ribs. Once again, creating space, but this time in the upper back. Maybe even feeling a release of tension in the lower back and the outer hips. Two more breaths. And then go ahead and lower the hips back towards the heels, allowing the arms to fall along the sides of the body. Option to sway side to side with the whole body or just the forehead, rolling the forehead to the mat, stimulating our vagus nerve that brings clarity to our mind's eye. Stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system to bring more inner balance and calm to our nervous system. Bringing our awareness back to the breath if our mind becomes distracted. A moment to reflect on any intention that you may have set at the beginning of your practice. Filling the lungs deeply with breath, bringing our hands underneath our chest. Pressing up on the exhale, coming into a seated position. We're going to start with bringing our legs all the way out in front of us into staff pose. We'll finish seated today, keeping our sit bones firmly planted, flexing our feet, fanning the toes. Deep breath in and extend the arms parallel to the floor, lowering our heads, chins to chest. Go ahead and pulse if that feels good. Alternatively, you are welcome to find stillness. Breathing once again, the back body long. releasing the energy. On the next inhale, we stack the vertebrae one at a time. Shoulders, neck, and head. And then bringing the feet in front of us or stacked on top of one another. It's up to you. If you'd like to keep the ankles in front of one another or stack the legs completely. Yogi's choice. Good. Inhaling, reaching the arms all the way up. Grabbing onto one wrist, coming into a side bend. Gentle. Pressing the legs down towards the earth, grounding the hips. One last time, creating space between the ribs and in our side body and neck. Maybe move the head around a little bit, exploring any areas of comfort or discomfort in the neck. Inhale, coming back to center. Reaching the other wrist. Exhale, come over to the other side. Once again, pressing the knees away, rounding the hips into the earth. On the next inhale, we reach up again, separating the hands. Exhale, we forward fold, hinging at the hips, elongating the spine. Allowing the head to float and fall naturally where it will. Using our arms as support. Maybe even stacking the fists. If that's where your head feels like floating to. One more breath here. And on the next inhale, we'll press ourselves back up to an erect spine. Extending the legs long, giving them a little wiggle in between before we shift to the other side. And then go ahead and stack opposite leg in front or on top. This time, instead of reaching to the side, we'll do a slight rotation. So inhaling, reaching all the way up. Exhaling, bringing the hands to one knee and behind the body. Maintaining a tall spine, looking over the shoulder. Breathing deeply. Noticing what's happening in the lower back and the neck. Inhale, we'll lift the arms all the way up. And exhale, come to the opposite side. Up on the fingertips, looking over the shoulder. Deep breaths in, caring for the spine and the neck. Nourishing the tissues of our body with each inhalation. inhale, we'll rotate back to center, reaching our arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Supporting with the arms. Taking our deep breaths in. Relaxing into the pose with the exhalation. As we feel tension releasing. One more breath. And on the next inhale, we'll press ourselves all the way back up. Rolling into rock pose to finish our practice on top of our knees. And we'll do 5 hugs. So inhale, opening the chest, expanding our wings wide. Exhale, we round forward, wrapping our arms around ourselves. Big hugs. Inhale, open up. Crossing the opposite arm over top. 3 more. Lifting and expanding deeply, and then bringing in all the compassion of the universe to ourselves. Drawing it in and wrapping ourselves in it. 1 more. Reminding ourselves how amazing we are and how loved we are. Inhaling, coming back to an erect spine, bringing the back of our hands to our thighs. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. 1 more. Drawing in new energy for the week ahead. Letting go of any residual tension that we may be hanging on to for no good reason. Bringing our palms to heart center. Perhaps setting an intention for the days ahead. Reminding us that we have everything within us to manage all the tasks before us. I bow to your efforts for showing up for yourself and for being present in this moment. Thank you for joining. Namaste.